say that shit. Like bad kids, bitch, we reckless, yeah. Raw hearts are like taxes.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Guap signing back with another video, and today I'm gonna be this is gonna be a serious discussion video for revolving around Need for Speed 2019 that's coming out later this year in probably November, I presume. So I'm gonna be talking about what we expected in in Need for Speed Payback and what we got instead that didn't really meet our expectations for the game and what we want in Need for Speed 2019. Now, and this video is gonna go out to Electronic Arts, and this video is going to go out to their game developer for Need for Speed, Ghost. So, and I'm going to start off the discussion by saying this. Now, Need for Speed Payback was good. For the most part, it ran good, the customization was good, the gameplay felt better than it did 2015. It felt a lot more smoother, much more polished, but there still had a few problems. Now, the first problem in particular that I want to talk about is that when you sit down at your E3 press conference and y'all reveal y'all new game after a long hiatus between Need for Speed 2015 and Need for Speed Payback, y'all come out on the stage and y'all actually reveal y'all very first mission, or one of the missions for the game, and y'all center y'all main E3 press conference and gameplay trailers around that one mission. I don't want to see that in Need for Speed 2019, not one bit. Now, what y'all don't understand is that when companies do this stuff, yeah, the hype is going to be there, but when we get the game, and then when we sit down and play the game, and then we sit through that one mission that we've been seeing all over the place, and we want to play this mission, oh, this mission is going to be so good, this mission is going to be so badass, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. We play that mission, and then afterwards, we don't get anything else that's remotely exciting. Not to say that the missions in Need for Speed Payback was boring or anything, but it didn't really fit the expectations of what we wanted in Need for Speed Payback, because all they advertised was one mission, and the rest of it we had to figure it out for ourselves. It was mainly racing missions, races that we had to do in between those big cutscenes and those big missions that we always have to do in Need for Speed Payback. Now, I get their effort for what they were trying to do in Need for Speed Payback, but I feel like it could have been executed a little bit better in terms of how they advertised their game and how we actually played the game for replayability. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is that I want them to hire better actors for their game. Now, I mean, come on, dude. Now, I may not have a PhD in acting, but I can tell you, me and my friend Michael can roleplay a hell of a lot better than what the actors did in that AAA game that y'all got called Need for Speed Payback. Now, and not to say that I've seen worse acting, but it could have been a lot more better. Y'all could have hired some better people to actually play these certain characters. Now, one character in particular I want to talk about is Tyler. Y'all know Tyler, right? The main guy. He's had his house blown up by like the mob and everything and stuff. You know him, right? You sit down and look at his character dialogue and look at how he sits down and actually, like, you know, plays out his character, the actor for him. You see, like, he has like little to no emotions. Like, he doesn't have any type of excitement or not the, you know, like typical shocked, like what you expect from like the main hero that's going through all this stuff, like explosions everywhere, like his house being blown up, him being chased down, him being chased by the cops. You know, all that stuff that you see in action movies, right? It didn't feel like he had any emotion in his dialogue at all. And same thing with the other characters. Now, I would say that Mac is the most tolerable because he has the most emotions out of anybody, and probably Lena. But other than those two, the acting was below average, in all honesty. Now, and I wanted to see better acting because in Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005, we had better acting when they were acting behind a live action green screen. Like, they actually had emotion in their dialogue and in what they were saying. They weren't just reading the script, like, and just reading it word for word and then just making sure they pronounce it fully without any emotion behind what they're saying. Like, we actually felt their pain, we actually felt their emotions during that whole set. And fast forward to 2017, like we see that these characters have no emotion in their base of their basic tone or their basic voice, and we actually get boring of their dialogue real quick, and we actually cringe at times. So that's my my second complaint about the game, that we should expect to see better in terms of the storyline in Need for Speed 2019. Now, and my third complaint my third suggestion is that y'all need to actually sit down, review y'all last games, review y'all games that y'all had in the past, and actually see what y'all had in those games that made those games so great, and implement them into Need for Speed 2019. Now, I'm on board with having a Ferrari and a Lambo and a Koenigsegg, but when you put all that stuff in your game, and then you pretty much shadow out all like the tuners, the imports, the muscle cars, the lowriders, if there's any, or the SUVs, like there's not gonna be anything that's nobody's gonna be driving except for hypercars. Now, I'm gonna take, for example, in Need for Speed Underground and Underground 2, it was mainly imports, but it was centered around one class of imports. You weren't driving just one car. You wasn't just driving just one or two cars that you would play once you unlock them. You could actually sit down and buy multiple cars. You could actually get a feel for how these cars perform in this one class area. In Need for Speed Underground 2 in particular, they actually split it up between imports, tuners, and muscle cars and SUVs. Now, not to say that there's anything wrong with hypercars, but I feel like that they're overrated, and it's not what Need for Speed is really about. Now, it is about speed. I will admit that it is about speed, but I don't want to drive a Ferrari all the time. I don't want to drive a Lamborghini all the time. I don't want to drive a Koenigsegg all the time, just for online races, just so I can have the best competition, or be the best out of my competition that's provided. What y'all should do with y'all game is that y'all should have some classes. I'm gonna put this in an example. In Midnight Club, there's Class D vehicles, there's Class C vehicles, there's Class B vehicles, and there's Class A vehicles. Now, what that means is that you can use any car you want, but it has to be within that class criteria in order for you to race. Same thing with the club events in Midnight Club 3. You can drive any car you want, but it has to be a specific kind of vehicle. So I feel like that y'all should implement that into y'all game, so we can actually have more of a variety in what we're driving, and make it feel like that there's an incentive to owning 10 plus cars in your garage, 10 plus different kinds of cars in your garage. So that's what I would like to see in Need for Speed 2019. Now, also, one last thing that I want to see in Need for Speed 2019 is, for the love of God, EA, please put in free roam cops. Like, I understand what y'all was trying to do with Need for Speed Payback, and put in bait crates and make it only to whereas the bait crates only spawn in cops, and the cops only spawn in on missions, on certain kinds of missions. But come on, dude, like, every once in a while we would like to be involved in a police chase in a Nissan Skyline GTR. So please, for the love of God, put in free roam cops. Like, put in a day and night cycle. You can still keep the day and night cycle, but please still put in the free roam cops and make spawn points for these cops. Please do. Because I don't want to hop on the game, go drive 200 miles an hour all across up and down the map, and no one reports it, no one even cares. Like, the police just lets us do whatever we want. Like, please just allow us to do have police chases in story mode and in free mode online. Just allow us for that to happen. Now, the one thing that I can say about those cops is that in the game, in y'all finished version of Need for Speed Payback, there's one mission where we get outlawed outside the city limits, and we actually have to lay low there and race up in like the mountains area or in like the forest area. Now, just from my personal knowledge, I went back to the city just to see if the cops will be on us or get on me if I go back there, because we're not allowed to go back there yet. I went back there and nobody cared. Not even one cop spawned and tried to chase me. Not one cop. After all the damage we put into the city, after everything we did, after being taken down a helicopter, we were still allowed in the city. So that's the one thing that didn't really satisfy my likings and all that other jazz. But at least make it a risk versus reward system where if we're not allowed to be in a certain area, or we're not for the story purpose, or just have the cops on us, just allow the cops to be on us. Like, it's not that hard because y'all have free roam cops in Need for Speed 2015, and they weren't all that good. Like, every time you step on the gas, they lose sight of you. So, and then after that, in Need for Speed Payback, y'all had cops, and they were hard as shit. But the problem is that y'all didn't put them in free mode. Now, I will enjoy a challenge. I remember in Need for Speed Carbon having to outrun Rhino SUVs. I remember having to outrun Corvettes. I remember having to outrun Dodge Chargers in previous Need for Speeds. I remember. So, I don't understand how y'all didn't implement that in Need for Speed Payback. Y'all talking about, oh, we're going to put in the BMW M5. We're going to put in the Koenigsegg Regera R. Or the Regera. We're gonna put in all these cars, all this stuff. But the one thing that y'all missing is the free roam cops. Now, I don't care about what y'all car list is, because I'm still, as long as y'all can give me a Nissan Skyline R34 and a Nissan GTR and a Dodge Charger and Challenger Hellcat, I'm satisfied. So those are my only go-to vehicles that I really ever drive in the game anyways. So as long as I get those vehicles, I'm happy. Other than that, I don't really care that much about vehicle types. All that much. So that's the last thing that I want to have in the game. And we're just, now I will admit this, we're at least a good 6 months away from the E3 press conference. And so far we haven't heard anything. All we just heard is some speculated rumors, but this is stuff that we already hear all the time when a new Need for Speed game comes out. Like, we hear about, oh, this game is going to be setting place in this city. It's going to be setting place in that city. These cars are going to be coming into the game. Those cars are going to be coming into the game. You know, the usual stuff. But I feel like that if y'all had 2+ years to work on y'all game and y'all haven't figured out anything at this point, at least come out and say something. At least give us what y'all got already so we can at least be excited for y'all game, because this game comes out in a good 10 months. And the E3 press conference is in 6 months. So, until June or whenever the press conference is, we don't know anything. And we want to hear something for the game because we want Need for Speed to be one of the top racing games. Midnight Club used to be one of the best racing games that you could ever buy. But I feel like the Rockstar is never going to do it. And if they do, it's probably going to be a few years from now, if not already. So, I know that y'all got the people to back this. Y'all been doing Need for Speed, making Need for Speed games for over 20 years now. So, y'all, there's no reason for y'all to screw this up. At all. So, that's all I wanted to say about this video, dude. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys want to see in Need for Speed 2019, dude. Because I really want a new feel to the game. I don't really want all this hypercar BS and stuff. Now, that's okay, but just put it in different classes, have different class style races. So, with that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're new, and I'm out.